architecture right now. And one of your peers, Jamie Dimon, really continued to beat down on it. He said very recently that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are nothing but a decentralized Ponzi scheme.
Yep. So let me qualify my statements on this, because I'm an investor in JPMorgan as well. I have a lot of respect for him. He may be one of the most successful banking managers in the history of that sector. However, that was an uninformed statement. And it was not helpful at a time when we're trying to drive regulation through two different bills on the Hill right now. I along with many other private investors, have been spending a lot of time in Washington on this. Essentially what Jamie said there, he was talking his book. This is my interpretation. He feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add zero value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stable coin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that, because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does Jamie Dimon feel threatened? You're damn right he does. That's a big part of how he makes money. Too bad.
For this year and next this morning, and what we are seeing now in our baseline is that growth for 2022 will remain at about 3.2%, but global growth next year will slow down to 2.7%. That's a 0.2 percentage point cut from our July forecast. So now 2.7% is a fairly low number, if you want. But to give a little bit of context here, if you open the hood, what we see is that about a third of the global economy is going to be experiencing a contraction this year or next. That means 2 quarters of negative growth. And so there's going to be quite a bit of slowdown in a number of countries already this year and going into.
Can we perhaps ease some of the downside pain?
Well, in our baseline projections, what we're seeing is the global economy slowing down from about 3.2% growth in 2022 to about 2.7% next year in 2023. So that's, the 2.7 is a downward revision from what we were expecting earlier. We're expecting 2.9. We're now expecting 2.7, so it's coming down. It's still positive. But when you look under the hood, what we found out is that about a third of the global economy is going to be experiencing a contraction, 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. So there's going to be a lot of slowdown, a lot of economic pain going down in terms of what we'll see next year, and inflation will still be somewhat elevated. And so what we're seeing is, this battle to bring down inflation is underway. It's going to slow down growth. Inflation is gradually going to come down, but next year is going to feel painful.
Welcome to Key Stock and Crypto Channel.
And guys, we have Kevin O'Leary on Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan. Little does Kevin O'Leary know, we know that Kevin O'Leary and Jamie Dimon plays the Hegelian dialectic. We know JPMorgan and Jamie Dimon has been investing in Bitcoin from the beginning. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, and behind the door they're buying. And then we also know JPMorgan has JPM coin, as I've been over several times. Also invested in Consensus, which is connected to Ethereum. Guys, we already know how to connect the dots, but we also know how important stable coins are going to be. And Circle with USDC always seems to come up because they're the chosen ones by the central banks. And we remember when Brian Brooks and Jeremy had an interview, they said they were working on a global stable coin for the United States for the internet. And remember, guys, that's the reason why I always talk about internet money, cyber money. And now we have the World Bank cutting again. And as we can see, it was in two separate different interviews and said the same exact thing. So we know this is all scripted. But guys, what they keep saying is that 2023 and 24 is going to be some pain. And you know I've warned you a long time ago. And we can clearly see how they're gearing up automation. As these corporations keep cutting and laying off, they have automation waiting. And how long have I been telling you that you're going to be working in the metaverse? Now we have Facebook and Microsoft teaming up to bring work to the metaverse. And you having your own avatar. And guys, we know how they're going to sell it. You can be whoever you want to be. And we know they dangle that carrot. So we know they're going to start paying people more money to go inside the metaverse. And if you listen to the media, they sound exactly how they sounded back when the internet first started. Why would anybody do this? But we know the Fed's job is to land us in the fourth industrial revolution. But guys, that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful day.
I was surprised, certainly, when Satya Nadella rolled up to MetaConnect. And the thing that the partnership articulated was that all of Microsoft's enterprise software, things that people use like Teams, Microsoft 365, they're all going to be available in VR now. And the Quest Pro is set to begin shipping October 25th, right? So they're hoping, there's a sense that they're hoping this will happen sooner rather than later. But it's important to remember that even with this partnership with Microsoft and other partnerships across the board, what I was hearing was that there were a lot of vague statements about next year. So yes, they partnered with Microsoft. That's great. But there isn't necessarily a clear sense of when some of this stuff is going to roll out.
The headset, though, as you said, seemed to be focused more on the idea of work and being able to have these kind of meetings in the metaverse where you can, sit down with people from around the world and easily chat without, having to do it via video conference, which, I'm not sure that too many people will find that super appealing when they have to strap a headset on that, is heavier than the current Quest, albeit according to people who've used it, a little bit better weighted and less hot. So, it really was kind of a mixed bag. The technology is supposed to be better with.
Customers are also using that combination of embeddings and completions to help employees quickly find and synthesize answers from across a massive internal knowledge base. For example, Morgan Stanley is building an AI assistant that helps their tens of thousands of wealth managers better support their clients. The assistant combines search and content creation so that wealth managers can quickly find and tailor the right information for every client at any